everyone, before we start the show, is everything in place? I have a right to be concerned. Think about it. Not only has Ringo the Beetle gotten out, but also Kama the Chameleon. Not to mention the time we had to chase that bull around Spain.
GB1, left or right? Left? You must have been the other left.
Yeah, you forgot about that one, didn't you? Well, I didn't, and I don't want necessarily a Bengal tiger running around the time machine. Okay, well, I'm trusting you. Hey everybody, and welcome to Groove Builders, the show where we create together. I'm your host, Disorderly Cone, and this is my friend GB1. In this episode, we're going to be building the Steampunk Bengal Tiger from our friends at the Moyu Store. And if you haven't checked out these guys yet, you definitely should. They have all kinds of neat projects on there, some of them very unique, ranging from very easy all the way up to the more difficult ones like we're trying here today. Regardless of your skill, there's something there for you, and when you find that thing and you go over to the checkout, just make sure you use code GROOVE to not only save yourself your money, but also help out the channel, which I think is pretty cool. Now, before we get started, this Bengal tiger is not just a normal Bengal tiger. No. This one comes with some upgraded wings. And being that this is our first wing build on the show from the Moyu Store, I think that this might be the most complex build yet. But we won't know until we get started. Let's get down to the workbench and see what comes in our package.
And boom, there we have it, our first couple of pieces, but let's take a look at our tools. First up, we have our adjustable screwdriver here with dual ends. This is very useful for reaching in and getting some of those hard to reach screws. Next up, we have our pliers. These are great for grabbing onto those nuts and securing everything tightly. We can also use our key here to do that, but I find the key to be a little bit hard to use. And finally, we have this mini screwdriver, which is great for grabbing some of our smaller screws. Now, as we put our first couple of pieces here together, this is something we've done many times before, but if you're new here, let me explain the concept. What we do is we take a screw and then place our parts onto it, kind of like building a kebab, if you will. And then after securing the kebab with a nut on the end, we have an assembly. We then build off this assembly to create a really awesome model. This can take some time, but unlike some other metal models, it can be a lot more straightforward. However, these do take a long time to build, especially some of the bigger ones. And that's why this video is a little bit long. I tried to make it entertaining, but I wanted to include some of the more difficult pieces here for people that might be struggling with this one at home. So go ahead, sit back, relax, grab something to drink, and enjoy the build.
And boom, there we have it. The Bengal tiger from the Moyu Store. Whew, my hands are tired from all that twisting, all those screws and nuts, but ladies and gentlemen, once we have this done, it does look pretty awesome. I mean, just look how we can open the mouth and close it. We can, of course, make sure these guys are on the right side. We can push this all in, and these guys up here even light up too. Unfortunately, the batteries have died. It's unfortunate because they actually turn on really easily, so if you're putting them together, you have to be kind of careful to make sure. Oh, you can see there's one actually kind of lighting up just by barely even touching it. And there you go, we get a little bit of a glowing effect. Let me see if I can get the other one going. Can it go? Can it go? Yeah, unfortunately it looks like I can only get the one working right now. There's a faint little tiny light in there, so it means the batteries are pretty much dead, and unfortunately I don't have any to replace it. But again, overall, this model really does look cool, and I gotta say, the design on the actual tiger itself is really neat. I love the fact that we can open and close the mouth, and of course, the added little wings here really do add to this. When I was out taking pictures with this model, there was a lot of people asking me where I got it, and they wanted to take their own pictures when I was outside. It really is an awesome model, and I highly recommend it if you're looking to get into these more mechanical bolt hardware models, if you will. These are not for the faint of heart, and I don't expect you to have a whole collection of these, as they can be quite pricey. But once you build one, you'll understand why. This is super heavy, and of course, it will last pretty much forever. I mean, it's completely made out of metal pieces and things that you've seen in your everyday life, which really makes these models stand out. And this Bengal tiger is now probably one of my favorites. Of course, the anglerfish over there being my #1. Alright Groovers, that brings us to the end of our show. I had a really good time building the Bengal tiger with you, and if you guys had a good time and were able to make it through that incredibly long build sequence, go ahead and press that like button. And if you're new here, press subscribe too, as we got all kinds of cool builds coming out in the future, and I would love to have you there. Until next time, Groovers, keep building. Alright, now, we're gonna go put you in your cage, and don't listen to that little guy named GB1. He's been up to stuff lately.